Hello and welcome to Paul and Ted's Talk Time. This is Ted and I'm Paul, and today we're going to be talking about, does money make you happy?
What do you think?
Um, I think it has a lot to do with the way you manage money. Because you've got cases where you have people who, for example, won the lottery
Mm-hmm.
and 3 years, 2 years, or however long it's been, and they've got no money.
Yeah, not used to it, you mean?
Not used to it, and shrouded in misery, because of the lack of management.
Yeah, mismanagement, generally
of it.
speaking, yeah.
So I think it has a lot to do with that. I don't think it's just a straight case of money automatically equals happiness.
Yeah, well, I'm going the other way here because I'm
Okay.
I'm going to say that money doesn't necessarily make you happy. Yes, it can contribute to happiness, and not having money can certainly make you miserable. But I don't think there's a direct correlation between having more money and being more happy. I think the first thing to remember is you can only get so happy. I'm going to tell a story now, and I'm trying not to bore everybody, right? So this is two people, okay? The Great Gatsby kind of figure, and if you don't know who the Great Gatsby is, Google it, okay? Anyway,
Well, just give us a quick.
Well, okay, he's like a sort of philanthropic millionaire, young guy, lives in a huge mansion, and one Saturday night he's having a party, and there's 200 guests, 100 girls, 100 boys. He's got waiters and sort of full catering.
Young guy, old guy?
Yeah, sort of late 20s, and he's standing there on the balcony looking down at a big ballroom in his nice big house where the party's about to take place in about half an hour's time, and he's got his champagne in his hand, and he's happy with the world, okay? And he's a super rich guy. On the flip side, Saturday night in Beijing, and Li Wangchao has come back from Guangzhou. He's there sitting outside his house, okay? His wife's inside cooking food, and he's sitting outside on the street from his very small house, having worked all week in the factory. And he has like a metal table and two chairs, and he's expecting him, his wife, his best friend, and his best friend's wife to join them for a few beers in the street on Saturday night, like they do every Saturday night. Okay. Now he's also happy with the world because what he's doing is kind of what he wants to do. He's going to hang out with his friends and enjoy the Saturday night. Now the Great Gatsby, on the other hand, is also doing what he wants to do. He's putting on this big spread for everybody, and he's happy with the world. Now, which one of those is the happier?
I'm struggling on this one.
Okay, well, the answer is that they're both equally as happy.
Yeah.
They're both equally as happy. At that moment in time, they both have a nice, mellow, good feeling about the evening coming. The guy who has loads of money and is about to welcome all the guests into his house, he's up to about here with happiness. He's feeling good. And the other guy, the old guy who's been at the factory, he's going to have a couple of bottles of beer and he's going to be drinking with his friends that evening, is also feeling good. He's feeling mellow, he's feeling happy. So, in view of that, why do you need money to be happy?
Well, I'm not so sure that you need money for sustenance, don't you? Maslow's hierarchy of needs kind of.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You fulfill one need, you move on to the next. And you're starting at the top, you need to drink water, and then I think it's sex, then it's shelter, then it's this, then it's that.
You can have some food as well.
I think sex comes before food. I mean, if you look at my dog, when it's time for that, he doesn't eat. Yeah.
Don't look at this dog.
Yeah. That's true. I mean, it doesn't.
Okay, all right.
I put food out for him. He waits for his girlfriend to finish her food, and then he's following her. He's not interested in eating at this given moment in time.
All right. Getting back to our topic. What we've often said on a kind of personal level, we've often said together, the pair of us, that we're not greedy.
Right. Yep. Yep.
And that we don't want to go out there and grab.
Mm-hmm.
So what's that about?
I was about to ask you that. Yeah, why?
Is it moderation? Is it that we don't want to participate in the rat race?
I don't think we think it's worth it. I think it's as simple as that. I think we see our year
cost-benefit analysis.
Cost-benefit analysis. It's how you evaluate your time. I mean, some people, for example, they will go to work, okay, and they will spend their entire life working for money to do this and that, okay, or to accumulate wealth, in whichever way you want to look at it. And they justify that. They say, I don't mind spending 40 hours a week for, let's say, 40 years, times 52, times 40, all those hours, that huge percentage of their life. They say, I'm okay with that. Now, I don't think we are. I think we're not.
I think our values are very much different, aren't they?
Yeah, from those people, let's say. Yeah. I mean, I think, when we're faced with the opportunity to go out there and do those hours to accumulate wealth, we haven't seen enough evidence to tell us that extra money is going to be worth that extra time of ours. Is that fair to say?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, I think so.
So how do we quantify that then? As far as saying how much money you need to be happy, or is it a sort of a satisficing thing?
I think what makes me personally happy is this sense of not being consumed by that conventional kind of rut, as I see it now. Everybody's different, and some people out there might very much enjoy the lifestyle they've got. And I say, well, great, good luck to you, and I hope it really works out for you. Personally, for me, it's about a quality of life, and I don't see quality in that rat race, and I see a quality in the simple living. Here I can live cheaply. I'm not caught up in that financial.
Okay, well, let's translate this into gadgets. If you had more money, you had more gadgets. Let's say if you put a little bit more time into work, you'd get more money. Let's say, I mean, working
choice.
Choice, and also you'll be able to buy a better this or a better that. But that doesn't do it for you.
No, I've always liked the idea of options, and if I want that gadget, then as I stand, I have an opportunity to create wealth to buy that gadget.
So you have the option, is what you're saying?
Yeah, having the option.
Okay.
Yeah. Whereas I'm not caught up in some kind of mincer that's chewing me up in a conventional kind of way, whereby I have to go out 40 hours a week because I've got X, Y, and Z bills to meet,
which you've inherited yourself. I mean, your circumstances have inherited. This is another good point. If you reach this amount of wealth, therefore you take on this extra load of stuff. Well, you buy the bigger car.
We both worked in Saudi. What happens is that, I think for us, I think I can safely speak for you here, I think once you get more income, the proportion of your, how can I send it, your lifestyle spending goes up. I haven't worded that very well, but you get
exponentially, is that the word?
Yeah, so I mean, I can remember being in Saudi, and it was great to have that spending power, because 99% of your income was disposable income, and you could do whatever you wanted with it.
In as much as we had no overheads.
Yeah, no apartment, no electric, no nothing. So it was good to feel that spending power. But did it make me more happy than I am now? No, I don't think so.
No, it didn't me, that's for sure.
But then again, it did help finance a lot of what I've got now.
So sort of backward justification, as it were.
Kind of, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
But day to day, we're not looking at that, are we?
No.
Maximizing profits, maximizing the amount of money we're making. We haven't got that urge to do that, like perhaps other people have.
Yeah, I mean, I feel so far removed from the conventional mainstream that I've really kind of lost touch with it.
Mm-hmm. Is that through age or through where you are?
I think it's through the fact that I've been, on the road traveling, so to speak, for so long, and it's 25 years since I left England.
Right.
I mean, if I went back to England now to live, that I'd have tremendous cultural shock. I think, especially in terms of the finance and how much everything would cost.
But wouldn't you sort of slip into that mode whereupon you go out and get a job and what they would pay you would be enough to cover this and that?
Well,
and
by necessity, I'm sure
exactly.
I would. But would it make me happier? I don't.
There's no evidence, is there?
No
evidence at all. And this is an important thing. I mean, you've got to provide evidence. Yeah, of course, we can all fantasize about having a huge amount of money and being able to go and do this. But would that make you more happy? Would it make you happier?
I like the idea. I like the idea of financial security. The pension, having the trickle finances coming in each week. I really like that, and I think to that extent, I think if I had that, then I would be happy.
Okay, we use a technical term, marginal propensity, which is like the amount you're going to spend of the extra money over and above what you need for your basic
disposable income.
Yes, it is, because what you're saying is your comfort zone is all the bills are paid and you're comfortable. You don't have
food on the table.
You don't have to worry about anything. You get up in the morning and you don't have to do anything.
The boxes are not at the door. So
exactly, yeah. And then that's a nice situation to be in. But are you then urged or motivated to go out and make another 100 so you can go out and buy this or do that? This is the question.
Well, it gets back to my favorite options. I like having the option. So if I see something, if I want a swimming pool or whatever, I like the option of being able to say, okay, I want that, so I'm comfortable. I want that, so I'll go out and chisel away.
You'll put in the hours.
Yeah, and I won't mind that.
And you'd be happy to say that the 175 extra hours I did in order to get this, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm in total control. And I'm buying that control, or I'm not buying it. But
what do we say to people, or even nations in some cases, where people actually just live to make money, and that's their comfort zone, their happiness,
their modus operandi?
And without money in the sentence.
Well, I think it gets back to like a lot of things. It's all about different values. People don't share the same values that we have, and the world's a richer place for it. But I think it's just conditioning, isn't it? It's social conditioning. And some people, to take the Japanese as an example.
Japanese, here we go.
Work ethos, right?
Serious about it. Real serious.
Very serious. Chinese, you might know a little bit about that. I know a little bit about the Chinese. I mean, I'll go to a company in China and 8 o'clock, 8:30 at night, not a soul's left yet. Still beavering away. Considered the family very much the center of their existence, making their money.
Yep. Comfortable with that. Very comfortable.
Their comfort zone. Is it my cup of tea? Certainly not.
Yeah, but we didn't grow up like that.
No, well, there's the conditioning. So it's. But I mean, how do they view? Do you know a little bit about China? I mean, how do they?
What the thinking?
Yeah.
Well, it's very much money. I mean, the whole thing's geared to money. You mention money and you get smiles. I mean,
but that's not my. I work in China, and that's not my experience of it. I mean, fool's gold or whatever you want to call it. I mean, I look on the buses and on the trains, and I don't see happy people.
Yeah, well, I'm learning Chinese as a sort of a hobby language thing, with a view to going there and doing whatever. But basically speaking, the whole thing is geared to money. I mean, when I'm doing sort of various study sessions and looking at videos and lessons and stuff, money is always there at some point. There's always, what kind of guy would you like to marry? Well, he has to have this, this, this. What kind of girl would you like? He's got a this, this. And money would always be part and parcel of the deal. You're never going to have or do anything there where money isn't somehow interwoven with everyday life. Now, I don't think all nationalities are like that. Let's go back to the Japanese.
Hang on. Okay, but do all nationalities, okay, to one degree or another, do they worship money? Do they love money? We all go running after money, don't we?
Yeah, I think so, to some extent. Yeah. Yeah. But how deeply interwoven into our
how much do you let it take over?
Yeah.
I think that's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
The moment you start letting money, maybe this is the threshold. This is where things start to change. Is where the moment you cross that threshold, and money becomes everything.
Yeah, I think so. But let's go the reverse way. Let's say, what's your situation if you don't have money and don't have access to work, and therefore are below the breadline, let's say. Let's take, half of Africa, for example, who wake up in the morning and wonder how they're going to be eating that particular day. Now, money doesn't come into play at all there. Now, are they necessarily more miserable because they don't have money than somebody who's getting up at 6 o'clock to go to work?
I mean, it's very easy to cherry pick on the anecdotes and the examples here. But, I mean, I can recall many a situation where I've been in what you might call third world countries, where children are playing with sticks and stones.
Right.
They're in their element.
Happy as Larry, as they say.
Happy as Larry. Now I've seen the guy getting on the train. Okay, he's not a child, but I've seen him getting up at 6 a.m. on a cold, miserable, wet, damp, dark, English Monday morning.
Yeah, the worst, in other words.
And he's on his way to the train station. And drudgery.
Waiting for that paycheck at the end of the month.
And he's got a substantial. He's got substantial more money than the people who you might be talking about.
Right.
Are talking about.
Right. But our question today is, does money equal happiness? And we're yet to conclude that it does. Yeah, I think that's fair to say so far. I mean,
it's a tricky.
Let's look at the happiness factor. I know that, what's that technical term they use for endomorphins?
Endomorphs.
Yeah, which get injected into your brain, which makes you happy. Okay, and then if you put a big pile of money here, you're going to get a sort of a sudden injection of this, and you're going to feel good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, the idea, the face value idea is fabulous, isn't it? Somebody says, right, Ted, you've won X amount,
Lovely, simplistic.
Simplistic, you look, but a few days into it, and it's derailing your whole lifestyle because your whole life is suddenly changed now because of this money. okay, you've got your financial security,
Mm.
you don't have to work anymore.
Yeah, I think that's a big one.
but
I think your point's a good one. I think the options is a big one here. I think if you're going to use money to give yourself more options in life, that's a big
that's
one.
what the money's buying, isn't it? Is it?
It is in one respect, and on the other respect, it can buy you a whole lot of trouble in as much as you
Yeah,
can overlever yourself, and
yeah.
you take out loans for a bigger place because you can see, well, next month's check is coming as well, and therefore I'll be able to start paying back some of these nice things I've just gone out and bought because I've got that level of income now, which means I can go out and buy a bigger house, a better car, start doing this, start doing that, nicer holidays, nicer clothes, nicer everything, nicer as in more expensive. Okay, and you're now setting yourself whole new targets based totally on your income.
Well, let me ask you this. Give me your gut feeling answer on this one, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The people that've gone out and won the Euro Millions or the what do they call it, lottery.
Mm.
How many of them do you think most of them are ridiculously happy now, or most of them are finding it's not the fanciful magical bubble that everybody makes it out to be?
Yeah, I think neither of the two. I think what you would do is you'd ask them and say, if you had the time again, would you still like to have won this? And I'm sure they'll all say, yeah, I'm okay with
I'm
this.
not so sure.
Really? Oh, come on.
I think what they might say is, but I would have done it different.
But that's you can't do that, you see, because we don't get to live life backwards.
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah,
But
I think that's what they would.
But I think the truth of the matter is, if I put a nice big stack of cash here in front of you and say, there you go, Uncle Paul, here's a stack of cash. You want it or not? I don't think you're going to say, no, take it away from me. It's only going to make me miserable. I mean, you're not going to say that, are you?
No.
The thing is, see, let's go back
to the managing of it. It's getting back to that point.
Yeah, managing, and also, are we going to go out and get more money because we know it's going to make us feel more happy? And that's a different thing altogether. I think talking about a pot of gold landing in our lap is a little bit different here, because what we're talking about is 99% of the population who have the option to work a bit more, to do a little bit more this and get a little bit more money. And some would do that and some won't. And some will be able to say, well, if I go out and work a little bit harder or study a little bit harder and get a slightly better job, I'll get more money because this is what I want because of this. I don't know whether I'm going to be happy or not, but that's what I'm going to do.
Here's a question for you. Do you think the more educated the person is with money, the happier they are, more likely to?
I think they see more options.
Yeah,
I think they see more options. I think if you have a better education, you can see more options with
and manage it better.
Yeah, and possibly, not necessarily, but a better chance of.
Yeah.
You always give yourself the best chance, health-wise. If you do this and do this, then you're going to live longer. And of course, some people do, some people don't. But you always try to do something to give yourself slightly a better chance. And then education's a big one in this,
So what can we do to summarise this up for our viewers?
Well, we can't, as usual. Once again, we pick a topic where we have no idea what the answer is.
But it's okay.
Yeah, it is okay.
Fine,
I think it's inconclusive.
And I think so many others.
Yes, and I think it's up to the individual as well. I think everybody watching this, because mainly we have younger viewers, and they at some point in their life will be faced with this choice. Do a little bit more to get a little bit more. Is that what you need? Is that what you want to do? And having got that, are you able to then retrospectively justify that extra effort? Has it done it for you? Has it made you a little bit more happy because of that?
Yeah, and you can ask yourself, at the start of each day, is this good for me? Now, it might sound a ludicrous question to ask, is this money good for me? But if you manage, I think you think about the way in which you manage it and value it, and and spend it. Spend it wisely.
Yeah, and less money is more beneficial to certain people than perhaps other people who would expect a larger amount to in order to fulfill whatever needs they want. You can go on endlessly.
Well, there you have it. And that's another Paul and Ted show for today. We'll be seeing you soon. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you.
See you soon.
Bye for now. Bye.
Bye.